Hi again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of RV Business Capitol Talk. I'm Rick Kessler with RV Business. With me, as always, Sherm Goldenberg of RV Business. And joining the two of us today is Mike Terlep. Mike, of course, is the president over at Coachmen RV, longtime president at Coachmen RV, I should add. Mike, thanks very much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. Looking forward to spending a little time with you guys.
Well, let's talk about the hot topic right off the bat, and that's the economy. There's some headwinds.
Yeah, there certainly are. I don't think that they're headwinds we haven't faced before. They might be in varying degrees. Certainly, the hyperinflation environment has created some real strains and pushed product prices to a level that I think is unsustainable to continue the momentum that we had. So we got to work hard to continue to bring down our costs, and we're starting to see things normalize and even see some indicators of some things coming down. Interest rates, we're spoiled. I mean, we're used to near zero interest rates, and we've been there for several years now, and so we see the Fed take action. That was probably the appropriate action, and is creating some consternation out there, for lack of a better term. But the interest rates that we're seeing even now are still low by historical standards. It doesn't mean that it doesn't increase costs, because it does. But I think that the difference that we see right now is that we're seeing economical pressures from everywhere.
Yeah.
Whether it be material costs, freight costs, inflationary costs, interest rate costs. So I think that it's a little bit of the perfect storm brewing right now that's causing a lot of concern relative to how we navigate those headwinds. But like I said earlier, I think that these are headwinds that we as an industry have certainly encountered before, and we'll be fine working through these just like we have in prior years.
One of the headwinds that we faced before that I'd love to have your thoughts on, and that's gas prices. I mean, I just filled up at $4.59 a gallon, and that was regular unleaded, let alone what people are paying for diesel. It can't not have an impact, right?
Yeah, it's interesting because, I can remember times before that we've seen gas prices and the impact and effect that it had on our business. And it was noticeable. And maybe it's because of all of the other challenges that we face and some of the noise around some of the other things. But I just have not heard a great deal about the negative effect or impact of gas prices at this point. And I'm not talking to the retail customers like our dealer customers are. They get a better sense. But after the Power Breakfast, I did meet with a number of our premier dealerships, and I had some great meetings there. And they were even saying that it's just that has not been the primary topic of concern by consumers, and I don't think it has been with the dealers. Will it become one? I suspect it will, but it hasn't. Even though we're seeing the price of fuel being higher than ever, it hasn't had near the attention relative to the impact of our business that it has in prior periods where we saw gas prices increase, at least from my perspective.
But when we were talking the other day on the phone, and we were talking off the record, but we were talking about projections, realistically. And when I was talking to you, I was impressed that the number a few days ago that you had in your head was, of course, not equal to 2021, but it wasn't off the mark as much as some doomsayers might predict.
You were talking about wholesale shipments for the year?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, so I think that one of the things that we have to do as an industry is we certainly need to moderate. We've all been in a unique environment where the demand was so high and the push was so huge to get our dealers back to reasonable inventory levels for them to operate efficiently and effectively. So if you take a look at 2021 as a whole, all products combined, the industry shipped about 16% more than what we retailed. And on the motorized side, it was near a push. Yeah. And so really, when you consider it 16%, that did not get us back. That did not restock the shelves and close the gap that we needed to close from 2020 and 2021. You know, with the volume of product that was depleted from dealer inventories. Through Q1, January through March for both wholesale and retail, wholesale is outpacing retail by about 79% now. But most of the biggest part of that is travel trailers, which is 95% ahead of retail. But keep in mind, the first quarter wholesale is always higher than retail as it builds up inventory for the prime selling season. And if you take a look at motorized, we still have catch up to accomplish in motorized in getting our dealers back to optimum stocking levels. Travel trailers, I think that we're there, and I think that the dealers will support that statement, their comment. Fifth wheels will probably there, although fifth wheels is not tracking near the overage of what travel trailers are. So I think that in all, we're in a pretty good place as long as we as an industry moderate and don't have any bad actors out there that create devaluation in inventories that are out there. I think that that's real important, and I think the dealers, don't want that to happen either. So, as far as where this year is going to end up, I mean, geez, we're in the middle of May already, and this industry, it's a tough one to predict in the environment that we're in right now. But I would think that, we're still going to be, in the 500,000 plus, maybe even 550 range. And last year I think we need to keep in mind, last year we did 601,000 units, right? I think that's the number. And we did that horribly, ineffectively, and inefficiently. So to brag about 600,000 units last year, and to think that we were going to hit 700,000, which I think were the run rates of some of the key suppliers in early part of the years, that's just not sustainable. Frankly, it's not even smart. It's ineffective and inefficiently as we accomplished the 600,000 in the year prior, especially in light of all the shortages and headwinds, as Rick had mentioned. So I think that this year is still going to be a damn good year. I think that we've got to be focused on what's retailing more than what we're focused on wholesaling. I think that we need to get our ear to the ground and make certain that the value proposition of our products is meeting the needs and desires of our customer, not what we think that it should be, because we've been forced to abandon threshold price points by product category through this chaos that we've managed over the last 18 months. And right now, I think the goal is certainly for us is to reevaluate our product strategies and make certain that the product value propositions are meeting the needs of the customer and certainly the needs of our dealers.
If you're suggesting that manufacturers and others focus on products that are selling, what, from your point of view at Coachmen RV, Forest River, is selling? Where's the strength in this market, and what type of products?
Well, it has been, the smaller travel trailers that, especially with the number of first-time buyers that came into the market, even on the motorized side, some of it was mid-sized to smaller stuff. There's not a clear segment or hotspot in any one single product line right now. I mean, there is a period of time that the small single axle, small dual tandem axle trailers were the hot spot. You know, we're seeing a pretty broad breadth, a good mix of strength from the retail side. And the nice thing was, is March retail numbers, you know, popped up a little bit from what the trajectory had been. And so that was nice to see. I think that there's still demand out there. Certainly, you know, we're coming into the season, you're going to see high demand for bunk bed models, you know, in our towable products, and, you know, our you know, the marquee floor plans and Class Cs and Class As. You know, diesel products have been maybe a little bit quiet out there, but you know, even camping trailers, you know, high demand there, and camping trailer inventories have not come back. I mean, we were negative territory in 2021, wholesale to retail, and we still have some catch up to do there as well. So I think that we're reevaluating what the customer of today is looking for, and I don't think that it's changed a heck of a lot. Floor plan certainly is the key, but and I think, you know, on towables, weight is certainly going to continue to play a big role as well.
Do you think that, are you saying that the traditional folding camping trailer has still got a pulse?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Of course, you know, I'd rather keep that quiet. Because, you know, Gundon and I are probably, you know, the last Mohicans, you know, out there for that. But Gunny would be the one to talk to there. He's the camping trailer king.
Yeah, he probably won't talk to us though. Not on the record. Yeah. Yeah. But Rick, what else you got?
Well, just curious. I hear everything you're saying. So I got a question for you, and I don't know if it's a proper question to ask, but are the dealer orders moderating as well?
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, so backlog in the RV industry is like fresh produce at a grocery store. It's only good for so long.
Yeah.
And so anybody that's out there bragging about their backlogs probably hasn't really purged their backlogs to be real. Backlogs have come down. Even the backlogs that are there, we're verifying and validating before we schedule, because, you know, dealer inventory shot up so quickly, you know, after being so depleted that, you know, in some cases dealers were forced to order, you know, double, triple, and go a couple deep, you know, just to get the inventory in. And keep in mind too, the pressures on our dealer customers relative to floor plan availability, the dollars, because, you know, the average unit year over year is up anywhere from 30 to 50%. That's mind-boggling when you think about it. I mean, just absolutely mind-boggling. And so the pressure on floor plan for you know, a dealer could you know, have filled up their floor plan and still be 30 to 40% less the optimum number of units.
Yep. So
there's certainly some play there as well.
That looks like a crystal ball behind you. It's probably not. It's probably a globe. But if it were a crystal ball, take us through the rest of this summer, maybe even into open house. What are your predictions?
I think that the expo, you know, when Pete Lego came out with the very first expo, he had a name for it, and the name was Pick Your Partner.
That's right.
And I think that this expo would be perfectly named Pick Your Partner, because I think that we're going to see dealers coming with a very strategic mission to determine, okay, we're going to get back to a strategic definition of what our product lines are going to be and what they're not going to be. And I think that dealers are going to be cautious on the orders that they place, and very strategic. I hate to keep using that word, but I think that it's perfectly appropriate in light of the kind of environment that we're in. And I think that we'll continue to see a reasonably good market. But I do think that we're going to see moderation. And, you know, I shared this analogy with Sherm when we were talking, somebody asked me, so if you were going to give an analogy of the RV industry from the wholesale side, manufacturer side, what would it be? I said, it reminds me a little bit of a vehicle going down the highway with too many people in the front seat and traveling at a speed a little bit too fast in inclement conditions and nobody wearing a seatbelt. And I'm not suggesting that there's going to be a crash, but even if the driver taps on the brake, there might be some faces implanted in the windshield, And so I think that, we need to, moderate, taper things back, idle things, down a little bit to meet the retail demand out there, and also to make certain that we're meeting the needs of the dealers for, getting their inventories back where they want to be, particularly with motorized. But I think that it's going to be a lot tougher on the wholesale side, going into Expo than it's been in the last 2 years for the summer season. But I think that the retail sales will continue to support the rates as we moderate. And I think the fall will be good, because I think that the RV industry has captured national attention in a way it never has before. And I think that that's going to continue to grow, provided that we as an industry continue to nurture it and take care of the customer.
Before we sign off, do you think we'll see anybody like Paul McCartney or such at the open house this year?
I think that what the plan is for Pete to get up there and do some solos or something. I
don't want him to sing.
Yeah, I'm going to tell him you said that.
All right. Well, thank you, Mike. Seriously, for your time. Rick, take us away.
All right. So I think what we heard was a few people in the front seat are going to have to get in the back seat and put on your seatbelts, and let's slow down just a little bit and take care of what we need to take care of.
There you go.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.